an amazing, this is a pretty amazing platform for communicating and team building. And so this is a special webinar just for the members of boards. I'm Randy Gage. Quick reminder, couple of things. Download the workbook from the Duplication Nation board if you haven't already. I would suggest you print it out so you could actually write in the answers. I think you'll get a lot more out of it. Please check in the chat. Just let us know where you're watching from. And if you want to, share how long have you been in direct sales, leverage sales, network marketing. Let me turn off my email bell so we're not distracted. Please remember, this is a safe space. Everything Duplication Nation does, everything you see on boards, it's generic. We're not here fighting each other over a piece of the pie. We're here building a bigger pie for everybody. So we want to keep it a safe space. That means no company or product promos in the chat. Please don't be recruiting. Check your flip charts at the door. You should also know what I'm presenting today is the result of Jaime Loquier, my partner at Duplication Nation, and myself. He actually did the Spanish version of this at 11 a.m. Eastern, and I'm doing it here at, I said 2 o'clock. It's actually 1 o'clock Eastern right now. And I would suggest you text your team and let them know, hey, there is a webinar you could get on live right now. I don't know, Jackie, do you have the code or the link that we can put in the chat that if they don't have it handy, what to send to their team? Or Ann, if you know, so they could send it out to their people. So I don't know if we could put it in the chat or screen share.
Yeah, so we'll send it out. It's from the board's website. They'll have to register for the webinar and automatically they'll get the link to this Zoom.
No, but I mean, for people right now, if they want to get in their WhatsApp and send it to their team and say, hey, get on this right now.
Yeah. So here, I'm sending it to everyone right now so that you can send it out to your teams.
Perfect.
Let's get more people on here.
Yeah, guys, recruiting may not be the be all end all of network marketing, but the lack of recruiting is the be all kill all. And this, of course, what we're sharing today is the 7 practicalities of thermonuclear recruiting. We're doing this. It's a kind of an introduction. Many of you have not been on the board's platform before, so now you'll learn about it. And there's also a premium version that you're going to hear about later that if you're a leader, you're going to want to be on that. So let's talk about practicality number 1. And I might right away shock or threaten some people. It's a very simple thing, but I think it's very misunderstood, and that is your posture and presence. You've got an online posture, you've got an offline posture. You have an online presence and offline presence. And here's the thing that I think is kind of shocking for most people is that your your product line isn't the single most important element in recruiting. Your compensation plan is not the single most important element of recruiting. The single most important element of recruiting is you, or more specifically, you as in your brand. What is the perception of you? How do people perceive you? because you can't know somebody for 11 years and then bring them to a presentation or give them a presentation and think they're going to make that decision based on the presentation only. They're going to base it on who they think you are, how they perceive you for the last 11 years. So it's really important that you know, we work on this stuff. So let's talk about for you guys doing the workbook, let's talk about 3 important things in your online presence. Number 1 is your social media profiles and bios. Here's the thing. You have a biography that kind of gives people, it's 2-3 sentences sometimes it's 1 sentence, but it gives people an idea who you are. Do you have some personality? Do you seem interesting? Or do you repel people? It's just shocking how negative and toxic and hurtful and posturing social media has become. And you've probably been dragged into that or drug into that, whatever the right English is, right? Because these platforms spend billions of dollars developing computer algorithms to trigger you and manipulate you and clickbait you and get you to spend more time on their platform. So they drag you into the political polarization, the fear of others polarization, the world is collapsing belief system. And is that reflected in your biography? You know, when I see somebody and they say cat dad, entrepreneur, lover of jazz, wow, that's somebody I think is kind of cool. And I'd be like, yeah, I'd like to know more about that person. But when their biography is an attack on the other people in the political spectrum that they don't agree with, I'm thinking, you know, I don't even want to go there. I pretty much have left social media back in 2020, and I'm on there just sparingly developing relationships and very mindfully unfollowing people who buy into all that toxic, polarizing manipulation that the platforms are on. So look at your profile and the biography and the photo. You know, you know what I find shocking, right? There's certain nightclubs you can go to, there's certain theme parks you can go to. There's, you know, you can go to Ibiza or Burning Man or some circuit party, and they will be offering some 82-ounce schooner of beer or some, you know, 5-gallon wine glass, if snifter or whatever. And I'm just shocked how many people put that as their photo in their dating app and their social media profiles. Is that really the first impression you want the world to have of you? You know, when I land on somebody's Facebook page and they're holding this, you know, 68-ounce schooner of beer that they're drinking in the Bavarian village in Epcot Center, I'm thinking, what, they couldn't find a good pic of them with their crack pipe? You know? Or they didn't have a good pic of them shooting up heroin? Because that's how I perceive it. I'm like, really? Drinking your 60-ounce schooner of alcoholic beverage, that's the first thing you want the world to know about you? So look at that. And then the second item in the workbook is the feed you're posting. Because what is the point if you're going to do a sensible biography, an intriguing picture, it's inviting people to come in, and then they start scrolling through your feed and it's bitter, vitriolic arguing? It doesn't matter if it's Trump versus Biden or masks versus no masks or vaccines versus no vaccines, or do we put the toilet paper roll up or facing down? I mean, if that's all you're posting all day long, who would want to be in the team of that person? Even religion, right? Like when we talk about biographies, a lot of people like to, feature their religion there because their faith is important to them. I get that. I'm not going to tell you don't do that. But here's what I will tell you. You know what I love about my own team that I build? My team, the thing I love about it more than anything else is when I do an event, a live event with packed arena, I have Sharia law Muslims, women in burqas, sitting next to Jewish people, who are sitting next to Mormons, who are sitting next to atheists, who are next to Buddhists and Sikhs and everything. My group looks like the world. And when we get together in an event, we don't have any of that political polarization. We don't have any of that political hate, that demonizing other groups. Because you know what? When your team comes to your event, it should be about the event, about what you're doing together, the dream you have. And so just know, if you're pushing your religion on your biography, you may repel people who would be great for your team. And I can just tell you from personal experience over many years, I just have proven that when you have a shared goal, a common dream, you bond together, it works for everyone. And it's no matter what's going on in the world right now, I can tell you, Israel and Hamas, Russia and Ukraine, Iran, and all the terrorist groups they fund and all that. None of that stuff makes it to my social media feed. None of that stuff makes it to my events. The team has one shared vision, and we lock arms and we do that together. Now, by the way, there's a great guidebook. If you do the board's professional, the business plan, we've got a great guidebook on setting up your social media accounts in the premium version of the Duplication Nation board. All right, let's talk about offline. Now, here's the thing about offline. Offline is more important than online for everybody. Even you guys who say, oh, no, Randy, that doesn't apply to me because I only build my business online. I, sit home in my bunny slippers and I do Zoom meetings and Facebook Lives all day, and I don't ever build in the real world. Okay, that's your prerogative. I think you're making a big mistake because you're losing a lot of opportunity. But here's what you need to know. Your presence and your posture in the offline world will always bleed through into your online presence. So we need to talk about just your demeanor. Are you happy? Are you friendly? When people see you, are they excited to see you? Everybody lights up a room, right? Some people light up the room when they walk in. Other people light up the room when they leave. You got to be one of the people that light up the room when you walk in. And that's where we're going to talk about self-development. I have to tell you, if you look at the work we have on Duplication Nation, if you've read any of my books, if you've been to any of my workshops, seminars, I'm just personal development, personal development, personal development. I think it's the single most important element of the business because it determines everything. You understand, if you do 20 or 30 minutes self-development on Tuesday morning at 6:30 a.m. when you get up before you go to work, you will have better results in the presentation that you make that night at 7 p.m. because of your posture, the tone of your voice, the look in your eyes. There's just, when you work on yourself, you improve your demeanor. People who exercise are happier. Exercise reduces stress. What you eat, what you drink, right? There's food, there's drugs, there are drinks, there are depressants. And I mean, I don't mean just they're kind of depressing. I mean, physiologically, there's a lot of research between the gut-brain connection and how what you eat and drink affects and can even make you clinically depressed, right? So are you doing this daily self-development? Are you eating healthy? Are you sleeping? Are you exercising? Are you drinking healthy? All of that's going to affect your demeanor. And you can't hide your demeanor online or offline. Because when your demeanor is bad and somebody posts something online and you come back with your quick, snarky clap back because you're in a bad mood, because you're feeling depressed, believe me, that's your demeanor, and it hurts you. So what's your demeanor? And by the way, part of your demeanor is the environment around you, right? I don't want to throw anybody under the bus. I'll just say I went to a nation in Latin America to work with a team. The team leader picked me up at the airport to take me to the hotel and greet me and welcome me. And we got in his car, and the windshield was so filthy from bugs that he must have drove, 400 miles out in the wilderness at twilight when all the bugs were coming out or something. It gave me like a headache to look through the window. The outside of the car was filthy. Inside of the car was junk everywhere, crumpled up wrappers on the floor. And, because I care about him, I said, listen, I'm not going to say the rank because, again, I don't want to throw anybody on the bus, but let's say it's the X rank. He was an X rank, which is a high rank with the company. And I said, name, you're an X rank. Do you think when somebody gets in this car with you that you're perceived as an X rank? And he was like, okay, totally busted. You're right. This car and don't think this means I'm saying you got to have a Ferrari or a Bentley or a Lamborghini. Doesn't matter if you have a Honda, a Hyundai, Ford, Chevy. It needs to be clean. It just sends a message to the world. I care about my environment because I care about myself. The other thing with demeanor and online presence is the scene behind you, right? You don't need a studio. You don't need $1,000 worth of recorded equipment. That stuff isn't going to duplicate. But you do need one place in your house where you can broadcast and have natural light behind the camera or the phone or the laptop. And then, like for me, my laptop is up against a window. The sun is coming in. This is a corner over here, so I have an auxiliary light just to keep the light. And then when I'm streaming at night, I have one more auxiliary light I bring in on this side just to balance it out. But what's behind you? Are you broadcasting against this plain white wall? You look like you're in a hostage video. Your candidates are probably watching that saying, blink 2 times if you need us to call the police, and just think about what's behind you. What is it? Does it look clean, orderly, professional? Does it look like a garbage dump? So that's your demeanor. Your grooming. Guys, when you turn 35 or 40 and your wife asks you what you want for your birthday, tell her you want a trimmer to trim the nose hair and the ear hair and get your hair cut, get your hair styled. It's just grooming. People judge you by your grooming. Again, this is going to be online or offline. The Because, don't think what you are offline doesn't show online. It's the same thing. So by the way, I think I went out of order, so I want to make sure you got the workbook right. So online, just to make sure if you guys who are doing the workbook, online is your social media profiles / bios. Now, the second one is your feed, what you're posting. And the third line is your live streaming skills. Like I say, just knowing what does the background look like? Do you have a decent, when you get started, it's time to get a microphone. And then when you become a leader, they get some lights. You good. And by the way, when you become a leader, you're going to need to buy a laptop to run your business on, not just a mobile phone, right? You don't have to start with that, but once you start to go. So, and then offline, it's grooming, style and dress, and demeanor. So guys, I told you, trim the hair, get, you know what I mean? Look presentable. And then ladies, I'm afraid I'm going to get in trouble for this, but I'm going to say it anyway. If you go out in the world and you have your lips so puffed up that you look like a sea bass, and you have fake eyelashes that are 4 inches long, and you are caked up with makeup, and you are dressed like an Instagram Barbie, I don't think people are going to take you seriously in a business context. Online and offline, right? There's a way we dress. There's a way you dress when you go to your kid's football game. There's a way you dress when you go to the Oscars or the Emmys or the Tonys. And there's a way you dress for business. So your sleek, sexy, high skirt thing that was amazing when you went to the charity benefit dinner, that's probably not appropriate for a business context. And if you look like a Instagram, TikTok Barbie, it's going to be the same thing. So posture and presence. Do you look like somebody that you would want to sponsor under? All right, next part of the second practicality, the formula for duplication. This is very simple, very elegant. So I'm just going to do it quickly, but to put in your workbook. This is the formula for duplication. Empower a large group of people to perform a few simple actions over a sustained period of time. And somebody who's really a helpful person, you could type that in the chat. Empower a large group of people to perform a few simple actions over a sustained period. So you see, there's actually 3 parts of that. Part number 1 is it needs to be a large group of people, right? You can't just sponsor 2 people and say it's enough and you're going to manage them to success. No, you've got to have enough people to get traction. You have to get them doing a few simple actions. It can't be, here, memorize this 60-minute presentation on our product line and the ingredients and the science behind it. You got to use tools for that. So you're going to have simple actions like, hey, if I text you a link to a 3-minute video, would you watch it and call me as soon as you're done? That's a simple action. You have a mass market recruiting tool, which we'll talk about in a little bit. You give to someone, hey, would you look this over? If it looks interesting to you, my contact info is on the back. Please call me when you're done. Those are simple actions. And then for a sustained period, you can't come in, run like crazy for a month, and then disappear for 2 months and think that things are going to keep going along. They won't. Perfect example. Just this morning, I sent a text to one of my personal enrollees, and she was at a rank, and I said, hey, let's get you. She's very new. She just started like 2 weeks ago. And she got the first rank because I create a rank advancement culture in my team that we like to advance ranks quickly. We bake that into the culture, right? So I got her to the first rank, by the second week. So I sent her a text today and I said, hey, we need to get you to this rank by the end of the week, because that's the encouragement, the expectations I want to create for my people. So she texted me back with this emoji face and said, I'm on vacation this week. So I sent her very important message back. I said, congratulations. I'm so happy you're on your vacation. I want you to have a wonderful vacation. But you broke that first rank because you sponsored several people in the business. Please tell me you're not just going to go on vacation their first week in the business and you're going to ghost them and disappear on them. And I know you did a major blast and you sent out links and videos to watch and invitations to presentations to a couple dozen people at least. I hope you're not going to just ghost them for the next week and not follow up with them. And she kind of sheepishly wrote back, oh, of course, you're right. Thank you for that coaching. Thank you for that advice. Because, right, this is a sacred responsibility. When somebody enrolls with you, sacred. You got to be their partner for success. You bring in somebody and then you disappear for a week. Now, somebody's going to want to cancel me or beat me up in the chat. I don't know. But like, God, Gage doesn't even want to let his people have a vacation. Of course I want him to have a vacation. Okay, but she joined 2 weeks ago. Now, I get she didn't schedule her vacation ahead of time. She didn't know she was going to join the business, right, until I approached her. But still, she joined the business. She sponsored people, so she's got to support them. So and she don't have to give up her vacation, but she can't disappear right after. That's why the third part of that formula is for a sustained period. All right. We're up to practicality numero tres, the candidate pathway. This is where so many companies fall down because they don't do this, because they don't really understand the business, right? We have many companies that are making incredible products and they've designed a great compensation plan and they've got a good corporate team and they've built out the logistics, but they don't understand how recruiting is done. So they don't have a candidate pathway. So if that's the case, hopefully that's not the case with your company. Hopefully your company has that. But if your company hasn't built that out, you're going to need to do that. And you may have to do that with generic materials. Thank you. Paula loves it. And people are giving me, they're saying it's okay that I'm beating you up a little bit. Yeah, put in the chat. Are you okay with me getting in your grill? Just put yeah, hell yeah, I'm all in. Tell me the truth. Because that's something you're going to see with Jaime and I. We don't tell you the stuff that's politically correct. We don't tell you the stuff that, other people want you, that doesn't really work, but, we think it's what you want to hear. We're in the business. We're builders. We work from the field aspect. And so when we share stuff with you like this, we're telling you our truth as we know it, what really works. So the candidate pathway. So, Anne, if you would, will you pull up, and we've got this in the workbook. So if you've got your workbook, you're going to see it here, but Anne is going to put it out in case there's people here who don't have your workbook out. But there's some key things, meaning there has to be this process that we pull people through, where there's a behavior that happens, and then there's a corresponding tool that we use at that time for the behavior. So the first step of everything, of course, is we have to pre-qualify a candidate to know, are they really a candidate? And are they a candidate for the product, a candidate for the business opportunity, or neither? They're just not interested. So you've got to go through this first stage where we determine that. And if they're not interested, okay, we put them in a follow-up document. Actually put it in the boards app or your, depending what kind of system you use. If you have a rapid start guide from us, something like that. But look, go back and touch base with them again, 6 months later, 8 months later, because things change. Maybe all of a sudden 40% of their company workforce got laid off. And when you talk to them now, 6 months later, they're at a whole different place, right? Maybe they had no interest in your products because you're in a wellness company. So 6 months ago, they wouldn't give you the time of day because they eat nothing but Cheetos, Fritos, Doritos, cake, cookies, pizza, candy, bread. And then they had a heart attack 2 months ago. And now they're worried about their wellness. And all of a sudden, when you touch base with them again, it's a different story. So from this first stage, we're going to send them to one of two possible stages, the product/customer stage or the business stage. So the next slide, please, Ann. This is the product client page. So this is an example. I know some of you are saying, why doesn't he tell me exactly what video, what catalog? I can't, because there's probably 80 different companies on here and you have different tools and you're in different, some of you are in cosmetic companies, some of you have utilities, some of you do wellness, some of you do all kinds of things, right? So, but I want you to see the structure. And then part of your homework is to go back and kind of evaluate the tools that you have. So usually, but here's an example of how this might look. You have a really nice introductory video about the product line, what it is, how it came about, the specific benefits the product line offers, and then highlights the individual products. Then the step 2 might be a catalog, a printed or PDF version, which has each product and the description and the price and the ingredients and all of that. A next stage might be the where you have individual product videos for each product, right? You might have 5 products. Let's say you're, just an example, say you're a wellness company. So you have a vitamin mineral product, a energy shake, a weight loss product, a gut health product, and a protein shake or protein bar or something. So you might have a product line video at step 1, which is about the whole line. But then for step 3, you may have an individual video that's 15 minutes about just that product. So again, I can't give you the specifics, but read my book, Direct Selling Success. Read the newsletters, the free items at Duplication Nation. Look at the stuff we have for you in the Duplication Nation board here, and it'll give you an idea of how to build this out. So then the next slide, please, Ann. This would be the business pathway. The same thing. So now you should have like an actual presentation. That's a standardized one. It could be one-on-one with a flip chart, could be done online or in a home meeting with a PowerPoint deck, could be done in a big hotel room or a Facebook Live with 10,000 people on it. But it's a presentation and covers what the product line is and the benefits, how they make money in the business, the benefit of leverage. How leverage works has to be a critical element. And then, the benefits of the business. It should always lead with the benefits. Choose the people you work with, great travel opportunities, tax advantages, set your own hours, all those kind of things, right? Those need to be in there. And then the packs, how do they get started? What is the support structure? And then a call to action. So you want to have all those, in that. And then the follow-up, which, I'm not going to go into depth on a leadership academy because that would be the whole webinar if I did that. So once again, if you're not familiar with this, get my book, Direct Selling Success, read that, or go to the Duplication Nation MLM podcast. Got a lot of episodes where we get into the how-to stuff and you'll learn about this. But the short, too long didn't read answer is a leadership academy is training for your distributors to help develop leaders, but you also use it as a second look for candidates who haven't made up their mind. This is one of the things I developed, I don't know, maybe 8-10 years ago. And I think it's probably the single biggest accelerator for my ability to build a huge team was when I started doing that. Because the Leadership Academy is very non-threatening. Because listen to this language. This is the exact language I use. Hey, if I buy you a ticket to the Leadership Academy, would you come with me? Because what this is a training on how to be a better leader. And we have our team members practicing presentations on the product training, how we make money in the business, and then usually one of the leaders shares their personal story and the lessons that come from that. And that nobody will be trying to sell you anything, zero pressure. You can just eavesdrop in, see how the business is done, see what kind of training and support you can expect, and then you'll know whether you want to do the business or not. And it works amazing. And then if, still not, you might have another follow-up video, a little more in-depth information about the compensation plan. You may get them on a call with somebody who's, somebody in your sponsorship line to help them answer any questions. Okay, thanks for the slides, Ann. So again, that's in the workbook. If you want actual PDFs of the slide, that's also in the premium room of Duplication Nation. So now we're up to number 4, Practicality 4, foundational training structure in place. Guys, it may seem like this is a sales business, but it's actually a teaching and training business. And the stronger the training infrastructure is, the stronger your growth is going to be, the faster your growth will be, and the stronger your retention will be. So there's 3 things in bucket 1 for you guys who are following along in the workbook. Number 1 is a new distributor orientation. Every company needs to have a system, and as part of the system should be a new distributor orientation. Should be a workbook, a video, or a combination of both, but not you doing it personally every time. Because remember, well, I won't say remember because I haven't said this yet, but in case you haven't heard me somewhere else, my mantra for the business is, how do I automate? How do I systematize? And how do I scale? Automate, systematize, scale. So I need a workbook or a video or something so you can recruit somebody and say, here's a link to the new distributor orientation. Go through that. Call me as soon as you're done. The second part of that is a standardized presentation. Again, if you want true duplication, if you want thermonuclear recruiting, there has to be a standardized presentation. Everybody does their personality, right? Everybody will have their own jokes, their own examples, their own stories, but they all should follow the same basic structure, the outline. So and that whether it's one-on-one, live stream, home meeting, hotel presentation, the standardized presentation is the standardized presentation. And then number 3 in the workbook is how to do testimonials. People need to know how they do compelling testimonials. So I'm going to give you a little bonus lesson here. I'm going to give you a very simple but very elegant 3-part formula for giving a testimonial. Part 1, what you do or used to do before network marketing. Number 2, the problem with what you do or used to do in network marketing. And number 3, how network marketing solves that problem. So please, nobody wants to hear about your past MLM experience. It's terrible to do a presentation that way. Oh, I want to let you know, I'm so excited about this company because I used to be an ABC company and, you know, they couldn't keep the products in stock. And my friend took the product and he was allergic and he died. So I quit that company. And then I joined DEF company and their pay plan was crappy and we didn't make enough money. So I came to this company because it's perfect. It's just terrible. First of all, you're disparaging the whole profession, and that makes your company look bad. It makes you look bad. If you're out there saying, well, all those other companies are criminals and scammers and con artists, but me and my company, we're the only honest one. You know, that makes you very suspect, right? That's a terrible formula. But if we do so when I say what you do now, meaning not your network marketing, but let's suppose you're a nurse and you're working a business. Great. So talk about what you do. You're a nurse, or let's say you're full-time in the business. You used to be a nurse, right? So here's what you do, the problem with what you do, and then how network marketing solves the problem. So let me give you an example. Hi, my name is Fred. I'm an emergency room nurse. I love my job, but it's very high pressure and very low wages. And I joined network marketing because I want to be able to provide better for my family. Hi, my name is Becky. I'm a school teacher and I love what I do, but the pay is terrible. And I have to take money out of my own pocket just to get supplies for some of the kids in my class. I joined network marketing so I could get the money thing out of the way, and I still could do the work I love, teaching 3rd graders. Hi, my name is Stan. I'm a long-haul trucker. I get paid a lot of money. There's great benefits. The problem is I'm on the road 5 nights a week. And I got in network marketing because I want to be able to spend time with my wife and my children. Now, what do you notice about all 3 of those examples? I did them in 30 seconds or less. And we have to train our team how to do that, 30 seconds or less. And then there'll be places where we say, hey, we want you to do the 1-minute version of it. And same way, if it's a company convention, you might tell one of your people, hey, we want you to do your testimonial and we got a 15-minute slot for you. But it's still going to follow the same formula. What they do or used to do, the problem with what they do or used to do, and how network marketing helps solve that problem. Okay, now that was bucket 1. Let's talk about bucket 2. There's 5 items that got to go on this list. And these are what I call the parachute skills. Why did I give them that name? Because I believe these are the foundational skills of our business. And once you learn them, you could parachute into any country on earth and you could build a business and take care of your family. Even if you don't speak the language. Now, any country on earth with a free market, okay? So forget North Korea and Cuba and, but a free country, meaning you could be Italian, parachute into Germany, even though you don't speak German, and you could build a business. Because all you have to do is find one bilingual person and teach them the 5 foundational skills. And when you have those 5 foundational skills, and you can teach those 5 foundational skills, you never have to worry about taking care of your family again. You can go to any free market in the world and you can provide for your family. So for you guys keeping score at home, let me go through what the 5 things are. The first one is meeting people. That's a skill set, and it's a skill which can be learned. The second one, working a candidate list. Again, this is a skill. Number 3, third one, making compelling invitations. Guys, this is the money skill. Inviting is the nexus of everything we do in this business. We invite people to review a video. We invite people to read a brochure. We invite them to a home meeting. We invite them to come to a leadership academy. We invite them to a major event, a home meeting, a big meeting at the Sheraton, or a Facebook live stream at 8 o'clock on Tuesday night. Inviting, inviting, inviting. The more effective and compelling your invitation skills are, the more money you're going to make in our business. So all these things are skills. The fourth one is employing effective presentation skills. Because, let's say tools, employing effective tools. Because some of you are great at making presentations, but you're so great at making presentations that you can't be duplicated because you're not using tools, because tools are where duplication lives. And then the 5th parachute skill is follow-up. Meaning you just got to check back on people. And after you've given them material, after they've been on a presentation, you have to follow up. These are the foundation. These are the people skills. The foundational skills, because, this is the difference between an amateur and a professional. You can always tell an amateur because they say, I don't know enough people. Well, they're just telling you, okay, I'm an amateur and I'm not willing to do the work required to be successful, because meeting people is a skill and I'm not willing to learn that skill. People who say, I've talked to everyone I know about the business. Nobody's interested. I have nobody left to talk to. What could we translate that as? Is I'm an amateur. I'm not willing to do the work to learn the skills of building a candidate list. Or, hey, I keep inviting people, but nobody shows up to the presentation. What does that mean? Means you haven't learned how to make compelling invitations. So all these 5 items are skills, and skill sets can be learned. So that's part of what we do as leaders, is we get people proficient in the 5 parachute skills as quickly as possible. Now, if you're willing to do that, give me an amen or a yo or a yes or whatever in the comments, all right? That yes, I get it. I see these are the 5 skills. I'm willing to learn them. And I'm going to make sure that everyone who joins my team, I'm going to personally work with them so they become proficient in those parachute skills as quickly as possible. Now, when you become proficient in those skills, you're going to reach the first serious rank with your company. Meaning not just the first one or the second one, but the one where somebody starts to have a team. They've got at least 42 people or 75 people, and they're making a couple $100 or a couple €100 a month or a couple €1,000 a month. And that is going to lead us to the law of the drunken orangutan. Orangutan. This is my latest book, The ABCs of MLM. I'm just going to warn you, if you're not giving a copy of this book to every new person you sponsor, or selling a copy to every new person you sponsor, or if your company isn't including this in the starter kit for every distributor, which a number of companies are doing right now, you're trying to build the business with one hand tied behind your back. Anyway, I'm on page 36, okay? I want to just read this to you quick. The law of the drunken orangutan. If you are in front of a candidate and your lips are moving, you need to be pointing to an external source tool. Why I call that the law of the drunken orangutan is because when you build your system right, when you have the right tools, a drunken orangutan can join your business and reach one of those pivotal ranks just with point and grunt. You got it? In other words, so we say, I'm holding tools. I'm being really careful. I don't want anyone to think I'm promoting one company over another. These are just tools that I've created for clients, right? So let's say this is a product catalog, right? Somebody says, hey, is this product soy free? Because I'm allergic to soy. Or is this product, vegan? Because I'm vegan. Or is this product GMO, no GMO? Whatever the question is. Even though you know the answer, you don't give the answer. You let the tool be the answer. So you get your catalog out, you go to the page for that product, and you say, oh yeah, see here, this is gluten-free. Why is that important? Because then anyone who's thinking about joining the business, they're saying, oh, I could do that. So when people ask questions, he or she's got a thing for that, right? I hear there's a bonus car program. I want to get a BMW. How do I get a BMW? You could explain the how the car program works, which nobody will understand and nobody will be able to duplicate. Or you could get out the booklet that shows the comp plan and say, here's how you qualify for the free bonus car. If your lips are moving and you're in front of a candidate, you got to be pointing to a tool. So there's 4 for the workbook again now. So there are 4 categories that you need to be using tools in. Really important. Number 1 is for presenting. Again, some of you are amazing at presenting, but no one is going to be able to duplicate you. The second category is for product/service line benefits. A catalog, a magalog, a video. It can't just be you doing your 60-minute presentation on the products and the ingredients and the science behind them. And because you're a doctor, you know this, or because you're a iridologist, you know this, or because you're an expert in this, you know that, because people can't duplicate that. The third area is follow-up. Again, you gotta have a tool, because that's when people say, I could do it. And then the fourth category is some kind of a tool that shows how you earn in the ABC company compensation plan. You know, so, and there's kind of, I like to have two versions of this, I have to tell you. I like to make a marketing version, which is the big picture stuff. You earn customer retail profits, there's fast start commissions, there's team commissions, there's a leverage matching bonus, or a leverage level bonus, or a leverage generational bonus. You know, there's a profit sharing pool for the, you know, director ranks. And then you need a legal document, which shows all the complete legal stuff and this percent at this level and what the PV and qualifying level is and all of that. But if you just give someone the legal document, nobody understands that stuff. So I like to have a version of it that's marketing the big picture stuff. So yeah, let me see people writing in the chat. So 1 is for presenting, 2 is for product or service benefits, 3 is for follow-up, and 4 is for how you learn. All right, let's talk about practicality 6, lead generation funnels. All right, this 4 steps are worth $1 million or €1 million to you if you get this. And when I tell you what they are, they're going to be so simple, you're going to say, no, that's not worth $1 million, but they are. Because this is what the funnel has to look like. Number 1, meet people. Number 2, migrate them to your list. Number 3, develop relationships. And number 4, invite when the time is right for them. So 1, meet people, migrate to the list, develop relationship, invite when the time is right for them, not for you. Now, here's the thing. I want you to make sure you understand this. This is the same 4 steps, online and offline. Online and offline. Put in the chat, yes, I got it. Online and offline. So I'm going to stop wasting my money buying some $1,000 e-course, which is going to tell me how to recruit people by magic at home in my Chewbacca pajamas, and the system does all the work and it's automated. No, that dog don't hunt. You got to go through these 4-step process. So let's talk about some of the things that are important offline. All right. And so 1, 2, 3, 4 things in the workbook. The first one is situational awareness. You know how many people are out in the world and they have prospects who are essentially begging them to be in their business, but they don't even notice it because it's not Tuesday night at 7:30 when they're in the weekly Zoom training for their team. But you're sitting next to somebody and they're telling you about how cheap their boss is and how they got passed over for their last promotion, and where you're sitting to somebody, say you're in a company and you've got an energy drink and you're sitting next to someone and they're telling you how they're collapsing on the desk in the cubicle every afternoon because they're so tired, and you're not even putting them, you're not talking to them, you're not adding them to your candidate list, you're just kind of blissed out because it's not the hours that you're scheduled to work the business. So you have to have situational awareness and be looking, okay, how, where am I meeting people? How can I meet more people? Where do I put myself in situations where I will meet more people? The second thing I'm going to put there is kind of what we started with today, which is how you live your life. The greatest recruiting tool in the world is being a happy person living a good life. When people see that, they want to be part of it. I know people in the business. I see Ann Feinstein's in the room. She's going to know exactly who I'm talking about. This is a leader in the business. And if you ever called his cell, you get the message, "Hello, my name is so-and-so. I'm absolutely slammed right now, so I don't have any time to return messages. If it's an emergency, send me a text." And I always thought, God, if I was in that guy's group, I don't want his lifestyle. Why would I want to be like that? That's a terrible way to live, right? How you live your life. Third one, number 3 in the workbook, placing yourself in environments to meet new people. Put yourself in places, situations where you meet new people. Here's something that will shock 65% of the people in this room and watching on the replay. I have been a pathologically shy person my entire life. For those who don't know, I'm neurodiverse. I'm on the spectrum and have social anxiety with parties and get-togethers and small talk in an elevator and stuff like that. Nobody believes that because they say, "I just saw him on a webinar with 5,000 people watching. I just was in a convention hall with him for our company convention last year. There was 10,000 people in there and he was on stage and he was killing it." That's totally different. See, I'm not nervous about being on here with you because it's my room. It's my platform. I control it. And whatever happens, I'm still going to be happy. Somebody's saying something snarky about me in the comments. If somebody says, "I hate this guy, I'm not going to watch the rest of this, I'm going to log off," I'm still here. I'm still happy. I don't have any issue at all. I have, people say, aren't you ever nervous on stage? 5,000 people in the audience or 10,000? I'm never nervous on stage because I own that stage. I know what I know. I know what I came there to say. I know my content works. I know my content can help change people's life for the better. Lynn actually loves me. Thank you, Lynn. I love you too. Lynn and Richard. Lynn and Richard, I know who you are. I love you too. This is, but people are shocked that I'm actually shy off the stage. But you know what I found? When you put yourself in situations where it's shared commonality, you don't have to be salesy. You don't have to use NLP. You don't have to learn manipulative techniques. You don't even have to approach people. They will approach you. Mad Max Furiosa opened last night. I'm going to get there this weekend. And I promise you, when I'm in line waiting for it, people are going to be talking about the movie. They're going to be talking about the director. They're going to be talking about the earlier versions. And it's just a shared common experience. I made millions of dollars because I play in a softball league. And no, I don't get paid. I play in a recreational beer league. But I made millions of dollars because I met people playing softball and the relationship developed. I met them. I migrated them to the candidate list. I let the relationship develop. And then I invited them to look at a presentation when it was right for them, right? Because it was a no pressure circumstance. So just look at how do you put yourself in situations where you're going to meet people. And then the fourth one is so important. Show curiosity and empathy. Show curiosity and empathy. So now let's look at the online process. What's different about online versus offline? Almost nothing. Here's the first one for online. Prospect online organically. Just be sincere, authentic, and be there. Let me look at my time. Let me see how much time we got. I want to give you a little extra content here. This is important. I feel really strongly about this. People online and social media. Elizabeth is asking the question, is all of this in the book, The ABCs of MLM? No, it is not, because this is not a how-to book. It's a why-to book. It's literally only 80 pages. It literally only costs $7 on Amazon, and it's cheaper in quantity. This is a book to get your people across the line from hope to belief as quickly as possible. Hope gets people in the business. Belief keeps people in the business. So I wrote this book to replace my earlier book, Making the First Circle Work. So you have a tool you could give somebody on how, why they're in the business, why they should never quit, why they should stay focused and build their dreams. It's very inspirational and fun. It's all just fun, short, pithy lessons like the law of the drunken orangutan, why you shouldn't chase antelopes, how to avoid doing online stuff that doesn't duplicate, just short, simple messages. You want my whole system, go to duplicationnation.com podcast and be a subscriber. Go to the website and get the newsletter. Subscribe to the board's business version so you can get the premium. And then, of course, in terms of a textbook for how to do the business, it's my book, Direct Selling Success. Maybe someone can do me a favor and write in the chat the Amazon link for Direct Selling Success and the ABC's book. So here's the thing about online and social media that I feel so strong about. We have so many people who, so many people who are getting terrible advice about building online. Now, I'm a contrarian. What I'm going to say is going to be complete 180 from what many of you have been taught. So you've been taught a number of models for building online. One of them is to be a content factory like Gary Vaynerchuk and do 3 YouTubes a day and 10 posts on Instagram and 10 posts on TikTok and 5 updates on Facebook and like 25 posts from other people, comment on 25 posts from other people, and they're like manipulative systems. And I'm telling you, that will never duplicate. So I don't do that. Other people are going to tell you the way to do it is through paid advertising. So you advertise on Facebook and you advertise on these platforms and you learn how to do ads and follow the, I'm going to tell you, that's never going to duplicate. Other people are going to say, you got to learn how to be an influencer and get 2 million people to follow you. And you do that by doing this. That's never going to duplicate. Never going to duplicate. Yeah, who's saying that? Morpolis. It's so overwhelming. And if it's overwhelming, what do we know about? It doesn't follow the formula we talked about. Empower a large group of people, do a few simple actions over a sustained period of time. So what's a simple action? Exactly what I just told you. Prospect organically. Just be online, have the profiles, have the present in the feed, and just be natural. If you love beekeeping, you should be talking about beekeeping. And you know what? Other people who love beekeeping are going to talk with you. You're going to meet them. You're going to migrate them to the list. You're going to develop a relationship, and then you'll give them an opportunity to look when it's right. If you like to play softball like I do, you love baseball, you're going to talk about that. If you like to macrame, if you collect comic books, if you're a trail runner, just talk about the natural stuff. Be there, be organic, be real. So that's the situational awareness equivalent of the offline one, is prospect online organically. Number 2 thing is how you post and interact. So the first one is prospect online organically, but 2 is how you post and interact. Meaning, like I say, don't go try to follow some formula where you like X number of posts and comment on X number with people subjects you know nothing about, you care nothing about. You're just going to seem really inauthentic. But if you're having real conversations with real people about things you really care about, that's going to be magic for you. I have made millions of dollars in commissions from people I met online. Now, let me tell you something that will blow your mind, some of you in this room. Remember the first part. I've made millions of dollars from relationships of people that I met online. And yet you go back and look at every social media post I did since I got on Twitter in the year 2005. I have never once mentioned the name of the company I work with, and I have never once mentioned the products that I represent. Never once in a quarter of a century. Because that's just pitching people, and nobody likes to be pitched. I meet them, I migrate them to the list, I develop the relationship, and then when I know that I can help them, when I can be of service of them, when I can be of value to them, that's when I will approach them. And that leads us to the 4th thing on here, which is show curiosity and empathy. You want to build a multi-million-dollar list, income from people that you meet online. Follow these 4 steps we just talked about. All right, we got one more to go, the active recruiting culture. Before we get there, just information on how you can get the premium channel of Duplication Nation on the board. It's the board's business plan. And do we have a QR code or something? Yeah. So if you get that, scan that on your phone, that was how you upgrade to the business plan. If I remember, correct me if I'm wrong, Jackie, I think it's $9.99 a month. And then, but if you prepay for the year, you get it for like less than $100. So you get a couple of months free. So it's Duplication Nation board. And we just got some great content up there. We've got charts and checklists for your daily, weekly, monthly method of operation. We have that roadmap I told you about for how to set up your online presence. Have a checklist you can follow for when you do events. We got a really good document that Jaime did most of the work on, which is the 4 stages of a successful prospecting call. And then there's a workbook that I did most of the work on that I'm really proud of. I call it my 2-week turnaround. And it's a 14-day plan for if you're stuck. You just say, oh my God, I'm calling people, they're not responding. I'm sending messages, they're going into the universe and nothing comes back. My team is stalled. There's no recruiting happening. There's no guests coming to the events. I'm stuck. If that's the case, you get that workbook out and you follow it exactly for 14 days. And I promise you, you'll get unstuck. Okay, yeah, it's $10 a month or $96 a year. Just set it and forget it. Because here's the other thing that you're going to get in the premium board that I think would be worth $1,000 a year. You're going to get me and Jaime doing live updates where we're just going to create videos and put them in there and send them to you. And we're going to offer some special, what I like to call it, office hours, where we're just going to set up a room just for the people in the premium board and say, hey, we're doing office hours on, Wednesday from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Just come in, any questions you have, you want to talk to us, come in and we'll help you as best we can. So if you're serious about the business, scan this code, enroll for the business plan so you get the premium Duplication Nation board. All right, let's bring this puppy home. We have one more practicality, and it's very, very important. Creating an active recruiting culture. An active recruiting culture. Now, I need to explain the difference between a passive culture and an active culture. And this is one of those $1 million truth bombs. If you get this, it can be worth $1 million to you, €1 million to you over the course of your career. Here's passive recruiting. Let's say you're in an energy, wellness, health company, and you've got energy bars and protein shakes and, great gut health stuff, and it's good for people's energy and whatever. So you're in, you love it, you love the products, you use them every day, you're a believer. Now you're at work and you're talking to Jairo, who's your coworker, and Jairo says, oh man, I'm just so tired every day, I wake up, I'm so groggy, and you, boom, let me tell you about my products. You tell him all about it, and Jairo gets so excited, he places an order and he signs up as a preferred customer. You're going to think, oh yes, I'm actively recruiting. But I'm going to tell you, no, you're actually passively recruiting because you made Jairo drag that out of you. Another example. Here's Mary. She's at the Parent-Teacher Association meeting, or she's at her daughter's soccer game, and she's sitting next to Mohammed, and Mohammed says, yeah, how are things with you, man? My job is so bad lately. My boss just passed me over. There was a promotion and I didn't get it, and they're laying people off at my company. And Mary says, boom, let me tell you about ABC Company. And she goes into her pitch. Mohammed gets all excited and he signs up. Mary would tell you, Yes, I'm very actively working my business. No, that wasn't active recruiting. That was passive recruiting because you basically made Mohammed beg you to tell you about your company. What is active recruiting culture is when you create the culture and the training to support it so that every person who joins your company follows a daily, weekly, and monthly method of operation. And included in that weekly method of operation is a block of time where they're inviting 25 minutes, 30 minutes, 45 minutes. Maybe your company has one of those beautiful mobile apps, and they get on that mobile app on Sunday night about 7 p.m. and they create a little blurb about watching the intrigue video, and they type it out and they cut and paste it and they send it to 40 people. Or they create a text and they put it in WhatsApp and they send it to 40 people. Or they go into their Facebook friends list or their Instagram follower list and they send a specific DM to 22 different people, asking them to look at a presentation, inviting them in a compelling way, and putting them into that candidate funnel, which we talked about earlier. That's what I mean by active recruiting, is that's baked into the cake that everyone knows. Every week, you need to be bringing people into the candidate funnel. Because I got to tell you, these companies have the worst decision-making when they create their ranks, right? Because what is the first rank with every company? It's always supervisor or manager or director, 99 times out of 100. So what happens? Somebody comes in, they sponsor 2 people, and now they're a supervisor. They sponsor 2 people. Now they're a manager. They have 6 people in their team. Now they're a director. Well, you know what happens when you tell someone they're a manager? They say, well, I need to manage my team. When you call them a supervisor, they say, okay, I'm done recruiting now. I've got 2 people. I'm a supervisor. It's time for me to supervise my 2 people so they make me rich. Or, they got 6 people in the group and now they get the director pin. So they go out and buy one of those director chairs like Hollywood directors, Martin Scorsese, and they say, I'm going to direct my team. No, no, no. You need to be recruiting, recruiting, recruiting. Your first 8 months in the business, a dramatic, overwhelming, over-index should be recruiting, recruiting, recruiting. Then you can manage and supervise and sponsor. This is why I say if you get this, it's $1 million truth bomb. All right, for the workbook, the daily method of operation, meaning what should people doing every day when they're working their business? And if you don't know, I believe we should be training people that they've got to work the business between 10 to 15 hours a week, because that's how you support your team. So what is the daily MO or method of operation? Is meeting people and working the list. What is the weekly method of operation? Block off time for invitations. The second one would be follow-up. And then the third one would be closing out if you're in a weekly pay plan. So block time for invitations, follow-up, and then close out if you're weekly. And then the monthly method of operation is close out the month if you're in the monthly one, and then be building to the next major event. And by the way, also in the premium board that you get with the business plan, we have a document with actual time and day blocks of how you do these things. All right, so again, I'm going to encourage you, if you're serious about the business, you should upgrade to the board's business plan and get in the premium, the upgrade board for Duplication Nation. Now, here's your $1 million bonus lesson. Every time you do a training, you should be giving people assignments. And I'm going to model that behavior for you right now, because I've got 7 assignments. If you're still here, we should be about almost an hour and a half into this. Yep. I got 4 minutes left to the 90-minute mark. And I want to give you 7 things to do. Number 1, if you don't have an NDO, remember that's new distributor orientation. If you don't have an NDO, go to duplicationnation.com and download the Rapid Start Guide. It's free. Andrea, can you put that in the chat? Duplication Nation, and go to the business building resources and click on that Rapid Start Guide and then give them a direct link, because it's free. There's no, it's basically Jaime and I created a generic how to get started fast plan for you guys who in companies where they haven't done that. So if you don't have an NDO, download the Rapid Start Guide. Number 2, inventory those 4 tool types that we talked about in the workbook, that the categories that we need tools for, and see, that was practicality 5. If you're missing any, then figure out how, what can you find that will serve in that category. Number 3, we talked about 27 times. If you're serious, upgrade to the business boards plan. Number 4, start blocking at least 45 minutes weekly just for inviting. Huge, guys, huge. This really will make the difference of creating that active recruiting culture instead of passive. Number 5, it's another free resource. Go to duplicationnation.com. You'll see a little ad for a MLM bootcamp, and it's free. It's a 3-week series of 9 lessons on how to kind of the boot camp for what's the survival skills you need to, survive in the business. Number 6, subscribe to the Duplication Nation podcast. Wherever you get Apple, Google, well, actually Google stopped doing it, Anchor, Spotify, we're on all of them. If you'd rather watch and see my beautiful face with this radiantly beautiful skin, then you can do it on YouTube. It's the Duplication Nation MLM podcast. Somebody do me a favor and just type that in the chat, Duplication Nation MLM podcast. And then finally, the 7th one is just set a reminder and rewatch this whole webinar again in 60 days. And I know you will find you get a lot more out of it, because you will have already looked at some of these resources. You'll be working with the premium board, hopefully. You'll be at a higher level of consciousness, and you'll get a lot more out of it. So go back and just go through it again, and set a little reminder for yourself and do it, go through it again in 60 days. The last thing I guess I would tell you is, I've seen it written 200 times here. Is this being recorded? Yes, it's being recorded. It's going to be up very quickly right afterward on the Duplication Nation board. And get on your WhatsApp chains, your Telegram chains, your Signal chains, your text chains, your email chains. How big is your group? If you got 500 people in your group, do you know what would happen if you could get 312 of them to watch this 90 minutes we just went through? If you've got 10,000 people in your team, do you have any idea how many millions of dollars in additional income you could produce if you got 6,000 of them to watch this 90 minutes worth of training and understand about the formula, understand how to prospect organically, understand, how to be on social media and not repel people, how to create that culture of active recruiting, imagine just whatever size your team is. And some of you here, I know you are your entire team. Okay. If you drop out, you would lose your whole team because you're just it. I'm speaking exactly to you because I remember when I was in that spot. I know what that is. And some of you may have 200,000 people that you built in a team like I did. I know everything in between. Here's what I know. If you can get whatever number of people on your team to set aside a block of time every week for just inviting, your business will explode over the next 90 to 120 days. And if you get people on the board's business plan, and Jaime and I spend time with them and give them some office hours and just send them some encouraging updates and some, training on what's really working right now, I know it can make a huge difference for them. So, Jackie, I want to thank you, Ori, everybody at the board's team who put this together. Thank you so much for your work on this. Andrea, who is our amazing person who runs the Duplication Nation project for Jaime and I. Thank you so much. And most of all, to all you guys watching, thanks for setting aside time on a busy Saturday, taking an hour and a half out of your life. I hope you know I spoke from my heart. I told you my truth, and I know if you do this stuff, it'll be amazing for you. So thanks for watching. Peace.
Thank you so much, Randy, for joining us and for sharing all of this wisdom with us. As he mentioned, all of this will be recorded and added to the Duplication Nation board. If you upgrade to the paid version, you will also be added to the premium board that they created, as well as having access to the business plan. So you would have unlimited usage of the boards app, the keyboard, and a lot of different resources within boards. We really appreciate Randy for taking your Saturday to be with us. And feel free to contact us through our Facebook group or anything else if you have any questions about this.
Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.